Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Javier here with the Geopolitical Investing Cafe. I just wanted to play two clips from this great show on YouTube on Judge Andrew Napolitano's YouTube channel called Judging Freedom. I think it's a must watch for any geopolitical investor because they bring on these geopolitical analysts of high caliber, like Scott Ritter here, who was a former UN weapons inspector, former US military, who basically lays out the truth on the table. Of course, they don't like him a lot, but I wanted to show you a clip of this and another person, Pepe Escobar, who's a great journalist who understands the geopolitical international situation. And they are talking about what happened in Syria. And guys, I want to show you how much in line this is with shows that we did a few weeks ago talking about the opening of Iran. For good or for bad, this is happening, and we need to be positioned as geopolitical investors to benefit from this, to invest in this. It's what I'm researching, but listen to these clips really quickly, and we'll comment on them.
Internal unrest that erupted after the death of I think it was a Kurdish lady.
He's talking about Iran.
Job police, and she died in police custody. And demonstrations rose up around the country protesting that. But what happened is everybody said, we're going to take advantage of these demonstrations to make a nationwide uprising that's going to topple the regime. And Raisi said this to my face in the question that I asked him.
He met with President Raisi of Iran.
It is one of the most dangerous periods in Iran's history. We were fighting for our lives. But Iran won. He said, we won. We won a great victory over the forces of the West. And the reason why I bring that up is, anybody think that Iran's about to topple? They've proven that they have the loyalty of the security forces, and they have the support of the majority of the Iranian people. So Iran's not about to topple, but Iran does have some interesting domestic political dynamic. Raisi was more popular in death than he was in life. He was a conservative, and there's a moderate faction in Iran.
They're going moderate, guys, for good or for ill.
Guardian Council,
they're going moderate.
Reviews all the candidates for presidency, allowed the current president to be on the list. This is why in the second runoff, the supreme leader sort of gave the nod to him, because they realized that they had to give a voice to the moderate population of Iran that wasn't ready to do all this conservative stuff. And this president has, the reason why I say this president is, his name begins with a P, and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try and butcher it. But he has been challenging the policies of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. He opposed the decision to strike Israel. He delayed it. And he's one of the reasons why there hasn't been an Operation True Promise 3, because he believes that he should wait for the Trump administration to come in to see what kind of compromises and things can be made so that they don't have to have a larger war. He's also, Raisi was all about the strategic relationship with Russia and jumping 2 feet into BRICS. The Raisi government was part of all that negotiation, but then Raisi died at a critical time during key ministerials.
Now, to be clear, they're still joining BRICS, and they're still hugely into BRICS, but this government under Pezeshkian and under his vice president, who you'll hear about in a second, are very keen on making a deal with the West. In fact, the vice president was the foreign minister under Rouhani, who made the deal with Obama. But keep listening.
In the early summer of 2024, the new president comes in, and his government was reticent. They took a step back. They weren't as enthusiastic because he didn't want to alienate the West. And you see this in the internal Iranian discussion. There are so many people that call him a traitor. They call former Foreign Minister Zarif a traitor.
Javad Zarif, who was the former foreign minister, very intelligent man. He wants rapprochement with the West.
There's this ideological divide. So Iran has to get its act together. They just got punched in the face. The Hezbollah thing that's been going on since the 1970s, unless something dramatic happens, it's over.
Guys, yeah, because Syria was the main land bridge by which Iran supported Hezbollah and her proxies. It's now gone, guys. For better or for worse, it's now gone. Iran is going to have to recalibrate. It's going to have more rapprochement with the West. This is actually good news for peace, guys. It can be good news.
Bridge, they don't have the ability to resupply by sea, and they can't come in by air because Israel's going to shoot everything down. So Hezbollah is isolated. This is a huge victory for Israel. Iran now has.
They're already going into the Golan Heights, by the way, guys.
I think this is
Israel's already going in.
Resistance, and it is going to be the beginning of either a strategic shift towards BRICS and a solidification of this Russian-Iranian strategic relationship, or we may see Iran actually turn to Donald Trump and say, we want to have good relations with the West. We want to do what we need to do to have good relations with the West. And they're going to try pulling India and straddle the fence between BRICS and the West. But Iran is in a very difficult spot right now domestically, and it's made even more so now because the thing that they were doing, this axis of resistance, has been shattered because of the collapse of Bashar al-Assad's regime.
So, guys, I say both are going to happen. In what relative proportion are they going to go to India and the BRICS or the United States in the West? But as we said, guys, and I hesitate to show the clip because I don't want to make this video longer, I will show all of the clips, guys, in the next podcast, the Geopolitical Investors podcast, where we talked about the fact that Trump is going to make a huge deal with Iran. I feel that in my gut. We need to be prepared to invest to benefit for that. This is all about geopolitical investing. This is what this channel is all about, investing in these geopolitical shifts. And whether it's more of a shift towards BRICS, whether it's more of a shift towards the West, we need to do the research now so that we'll be there to invest in that when the time comes. I just wanted to show you this by Pepe Escobar. It's on the same show, guys. Judging Freedom, you need to watch it because he has incredible guests who can give geopolitical perspectives. Pepe Escobar is a world-renowned Brazilian journalist. Let's hear what he has to say on the Palestine-Iran connection and aspect of this fall, the Syrian regime.
On the part of Hezbollah and on the part of Palestine.
This was just 1 day ago, guys. Will there be a Palestine?
I would say this is one of the most serious questions of the 21st of the young 21st century, to remember our great friend Eric Hobsbawm. Maybe not.
Eric Hobsbawm.
And a man who knew everything
great historian.
About this dossier.
A little bit Marxist,
said years ago,
that's okay.
And then he repeated occasionally. Syed Nasrallah. He said, if Syria falls, there will be no Palestine. And as it stands, let's say that we are going this way. There are already, I would say, Old Testament psychopathological, total psycho voices in Israel.
Hugely benefits Israel.
The people in Gaza and the West Bank should be not deported, but sent to Syria.
That'll be an interesting.
So if that happens, we all hope it will not happen because a sort of, for the moment, enfeebled axis of resistance won't allow it. But this is now up in the air, and now it becomes a strong possibility, a horrific possibility, but now plausible.
What about Hamas and Hezbollah?
I want to get to where he talks more about Iran.
Get weaponized from now on, considering that the famous land bridge across Syria from Iran to Lebanon is now it's totally.
The land bridge is gone.
They'll have to come up with a plan B. Nobody knows what would that be, right? But as a fighting force, they are still standing. And don't forget, the practical result before the ceasefire was a de facto victory of Hezbollah against Israel and Hezbollah resisted it. But Hezbollah is a completely different story. And of course, the relationship between Hezbollah and Iran, this is one of the huge interrogation marks from now on. I got some echoes from Tehran, not official, of course, that there is a very strong movement among the leadership or around the leadership, not involving Ayatollah Khamenei, forget about the axis of resistance. It's not going to happen. Let's get closer to the West.
Let's get closer to the West.
One of the main.
And again, for good or for ill, whatever you think geopolitically, this is happening, and there's a huge movement in the Iranian government. The people have spoken. Pezeshkian, who is a liberal, a reformer, they want to get closer to the West. There's going to be investment opportunities, guys. We've named some. We will name some more. We'll be doing a deep dive into that. This could be what the result is of the Syrian episode for the geopolitical investor. Major investment opportunities in rebuilding Iran, rebuilding infrastructure, rapprochement with the West, and a grand opening up of that country.
Protagonist of this current is the Vice President Zarif.
Don't
forget Zarif.
Very smart guy, but
very good friend of
very reformist. Friend of John Kerry.
We don't know how this is going to play out. Khamenei is going to speak publicly apparently this Wednesday. So maybe he can give some hints.
So he's going to be speaking. That's tomorrow. Probably tonight. We need to pay attention to what Imam Khamenei says. That's going to have some investment implications for sure.
And about the future of the axis of resistance.
Remember, Khamenei's 86, though. How much relative power does he have? How long will he still be there?
Because everybody who supports the axis of resistance, not only in West Asia, but across the global majority, everybody's extremely dejected by what happened and the immediate future of Syria. But it can be more complicated than that, Judge. Much more. Oh, no. Please, go ahead, please.
Last subject matter. Over the weekend, President-elect Trump tweeted on the venue that he owns called Truth Social that the Assad government collapsed because its patron abandoned him. And he identified the patron as Vladimir Putin. Is that a fair and accurate statement?
Judge, no. We have to be fair. This was a major strategic defeat for Russia. There's no question about that. And
major strategic defeat for Russia.
Going on in the corridors of
Who's the main backer of Iran, by the way?
No question about that as well. But the Russians tried until the last minute. They warned Assad many times. So, the last drop was that meeting on November 29th that I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation. And even in Doha this weekend, Lavrov was still trying something. But he would be trying to salvage something for Russia. And now it's complicated because Russia has to deal directly with Erdogan about what's going to happen.
Turkey was involved also.
Very complicated. Erdogan is going to extract a huge...
Later, well, you've given us a broad over geopolitical view, which is challenging but helpful. Thank you, my dear friend.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much.
I know in one part of the episode he talked about the fact that Iran is just getting ready to give up its weapons.
Forgot about Al-Qaeda, forgot about ISIS, and he rebranded the whole thing as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham.
And I wanted to try to get to that if we could.
It's about the third prong of your piece.
True, at least in one region, which is a very, very large region.
Only talks about the relative regions of Syria. Just how insane and ungovernable they are because they're so tribalistic. But this is a mess, but this is going to be, or has the potential to be a harbinger of what we've been talking about now for months on this channel. The opening, ladies and gentlemen, of Iran, and by extension, perhaps North Korea and Cuba, will open in similar fashion. Our opportunity may be just right on the threshold. So I hope you'll talk with me. I hope you'll make comments on the video. Tell me what your moves are. Tell me what you're thinking. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. And let's get rich together geopolitically in 2025. Till very soon, guys. This is Javier with the Geopolitical Investing Cafe. Have a great day.